Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I love my mom and sister, but to be honest, they are obsessed with money, status, image. When I got engaged to my now ex-fiance, my mom immediately hired me the hottest event planner in our city. This woman was hard to get and had done some beautiful weddings we had previously attended. She was fine at first, but as time went on, I felt she was being catty and I really wanted to back out of our contract. But my mom reminded me how much she had spent and convinced me it was in my head. Well, lo and behold, a few weeks before the wedding, my now ex had a breakdown about how he couldn't marry me because he was in love with someone else. Now, looking back, I ignored a lot of red flags, and he was clearly depressed in our relationship. But at the time, I was shocked. I'll admit that I just wanted to be married and ignored a lot of clear signs that he was miserable. He ended up leaving me for the ducking wedding planner. It was a difficult and humiliating time, which my mom and sister helped me get through. He said some things which have really impacted my self-esteem long-term, about how he never meant for this to happen, but he didn't realize how deeply he could feel things until he met her. That was 3 years ago, and they are currently married. My sister recently got engaged, and my mom went out and hired my wedding planner's business partner. Now, they co-own the business, so him making money means her making money, not to mention he is her close and personal friend. He literally walked her down the aisle to marry my ex. I expressed to my mom and sister how hurtful this was. They brushed it off and said that he is his own person and not responsible for what she did. I can see that, but I still feel that they are putting having the best of the best over my feelings. I finally said that if they continued working with him, I wouldn't be attending. I know realistically it is ridiculous, but I just don't want my mom giving the homewrecker a dime. My sister cried and said I was sabotaging her wedding, and my mom thinks I'm being petty. Not the a-hole. Your mom hired the wedding planner firm, not just the male partner, of the woman your ex-fiance dumped you for. I'd be petty also, and not take the risk of running into the catty planner that your ex fell in love with. I guess your mom is finally getting to be mother of the bride in the style she dreamed of. My stepsister's mom and dad are both extremely poor. They aren't well off in the slightest. This is because they both have gambling habits, and overall they make terrible financial decisions. My stepsister originally had a college fund, but her dad blew it on a bet. My dad is well off, which is why they went to him when it was time for my stepsister to go to college. He refused, and my stepmom and dad are arguing a lot about it. My stepsister asked me about my college fund, and I told her I already had one. She said we should share it. I'm not up for that idea at all, and neither is my father. My dad and stepmom have been arguing a lot more since she asked me and I refused. Her grandparents gave her some money, but not enough to get out of college debt-free. I do have the money to split between us, and we both won't have a problem with debt, though I don't want to. My stepsister and stepmom have called me every name they could think of. They called me greedy and a-hole and petty. Now my stepsister is referring to me as Mr. Grabs. I'm a guy. I don't think it's petty at all, but they think otherwise. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. She isn't entitled to your money. Your father, not hers, set up for you. Honestly, it's not just your father's. It's your money, and you have every right to use it as you see fit. You're not in any obligation to share it, and any money you give her would be a generosity she clearly doesn't deserve. Not the a-hole. The college fund you have was paid for by your dad. It's entirely yours. Your dad won't fund his wife's daughter's college, so why on earth would you think dad would want you to use your fund to help her? Your dad's wife and her daughter have been calling you names and generally being nasty to you, which, of course, will so endear them to you that you will suddenly give them your college fund. Don't give them a penny of your money, or they will keep coming after your money when you get a good job and have more money. You are not their personal ATM. Not the a-hole. If your stepmother wanted to make sure your stepsister had a college fund, she wouldn't have frittered her money away. If I was your dad, I would see the way they are mistreating you and would reflect on whether his money is why this woman married him. I would collect evidence to try to make sure he doesn't need to pay alimony and divorce her. He needs to protect you and not let their behavior continue. Me, female 30, and my husband, male 40, have been looking for our forever home for more than a year. As in, the forever home we really want needs to have a few musts. Recently, it came to our attention that one house that has many of the musts might come out to the market as the lady that was living there sadly passed away. The house, I must say, is close from my mother-in-law, who, bless her heart, is a sweetheart, and my sister-in-law, female 36, who is the special sister. She always got her way out of everything as she had few limitations, nothing super serious, and therefore she tends to have the last word on every family activity, for example, and uses it all the time. Most of the times I don't care and give up on whatever she wants because it's a big deal for her and I tend to not care for many things. That being said, all of a sudden she heard that we might have interest in buying the house, and she said that the house had been her dream house for almost 20 years. So my husband told her, half joking, half real, that then we should all prepare a bid against each other and let the biggest wallet win. Apparently she didn't get it very well, and then she proceeded to text me to tell me that she was saddened to hear that we wanted the house. That house was her dream house since she was 16 and fantasized with it together with her dad, rest in peace, and that for us was just a house, but for her, way, way more. That if we would get it, she would never forgive us. I told her that it was not even on the market yet, that I didn't see this necessary, but if it did, and we would be able to afford it, we would for sure place an offer for it. She said that she wanted it to stay close to her mom and take care of her, but the mom does everything for her. She walks her dog every day. She does the laundry of her whole family, 4, and irons it and babysits every time that is necessary because she doesn't want any strangers babysitting her special boys. So I told her that at the beginning saw the fact that they were close as pro, as my family is my home country and they were the only family here, that we wanted to help out eventually, when the time comes, to take care of my mother-in-law instead of giving her extra work. So she started calling me selfish and a backstabber, that she was asking me to back off for her. I told her no, because it was also my family's happiness, and her dreams and memories were not bigger than mine or my husband's, and I wouldn't answer her the way she deserved out of respect for my husband and my mother-in-law. And that she should be careful with her words because she was damaging the relationship when the house was not even on sale yet, and she already lived 2 houses away. At the end, I told her that if the moment would come, she was always allowed to bid on the house as everybody else had the right to. But she kept on going, and now it became a whole family problem. Am I the a-hole for not backing off for my sister-in-law's dream house? Not the a-hole. Sister-in-law only said it was her dream house after you mentioned it, so who knows if that's real. She seems like a kind of person who grew up spoiled and wanted things because other people had them or expressed interest. Does she want this house because of how much you want it? Go get your house and have fun making it your forever home. Not the a-hole. But I honestly don't understand some basics here. Can the sister-in-law actually afford the house? Or is she just pissed that someone else might get it? Frankly, if it was me, and the sister-in-law had the money and was going to make a serious offer, then I'd probably back off, just to keep the family peace. Plus, you're doing yourself a huge favor if your sister-in-law is willing to take care of elderly relatives, and you are further away and won't have to do as much. As it is, you're making it look like you care more about a house than about your family. And that's not a great look, even if it is your dream house. I wouldn't think that was worth it. But if sister-in-law is just spitballing about how she wishes she could buy it, but has no actual money to buy the house, then get the duck out. She's being ridiculous. I really don't know. For the little that I know, I suspect is her kind of rocky marriage is going to be magically fixed moving to a new place. Because apparently this house is a mess, because she let the mess grow and cannot organize anything. That I really wonder if she actually has the money. Cause her mom gave her a bunch of money to pay off her current home, and I understood they never paid her back. And now suddenly she has enough money to buy a whole new house and have a budget to even remodel it. I don't know why she can't just remodel her own, pay her mom, and even hire an interior designer, architect to help her clean her messy house. Not the a-hole. You are correct. Her dreams are not more important than yours and your husband's. The house may be passed on to someone who wants to live in it themselves. So all this drama right now is ridiculous. I'm currently a senior in high school and going through the college application process. In December, I got into my top college through REA, but I'm still waiting on the rest of my schools to come out in March. I will not be naming the schools because I feel like that will make the focus more about the relative merits of the schools and less about the actual issue. My sister was applying to college last year, which was a notoriously tough applicant cycle. She was deferred and then ultimately rejected from her top choice. She really likes the school that she ended up at, and it is actually ranked higher than her ED school. But she is still very invested in that school and is still sad about her rejection. Since I got into my REA school, my sister has been begging me to withdraw my application from the school she got rejected from. She thinks now that I got into my top choice and have lots more schools coming out, I have no reason to apply to this specific one, and she thinks that it would be really hard for her to see me get into her top choice. The thing is, I actually also really liked her ED school. While odds are I will be attending my REA school in the fall, I want to keep all of my options open. More specifically, in terms of her ED school, it is one of the only LACs that offers merit scholarships, which really appeals to me. While I obviously haven't even gotten into this school yet, if I get a merit scholarship, I will seriously consider going to it. Right now, I am intending to go pre-law, so I want to prioritize minimizing my undergrad debt. Also, and this is definitely a lesser reason, but the supplement from the ED college was one of the ones I spent the most time writing, and I low-key struggled with it. But I was really proud of the result, and I want to see that application through. Despite my explanations and assurances otherwise, my sister thinks that I'm refusing to withdraw my application to rub her rejection in her face, and my parents have started lightly taking her side as well. I was hoping to get an outside perspective. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. What's next? You won't be able to buy a house because she won't be able to? You can't get married if she can't? Not the a-hole. Her jealousy is not your problem. This is your future, and you deserve to have as many opportunities available to you as possible. Would you be expected to turn down a dream job if she'd applied and failed? Accepting rejection is part of becoming an adult, and she just needs to get used to it. Be polite and sensitive, but absolutely keep your application, and if it is truly the best option for you, go. Not the a-hole. That is 100% unreasonable and selfish. Normal, well-adjusted people would be happy for their younger to get into a school they thought was a good choice. I certainly would have for mine. She seems to be happy with her school too, though it shouldn't even matter. It's unreasonable for her to even ask you to in any way limit your own future because of her weird hang-up. She is a major a-hole for expecting this. During the situation that is currently happening in the world, my parents asked my husband and I to stay with them and my sister, who is currently home from university. My husband and I accepted, since the two of us are working from home, so we're not a danger to anyone, and also because my mom really wanted to stay with me while I was pregnant. I'm 4, almost 5 months along. Now, my sister is a very spiritual person. She constantly goes to fortune tellers, burns essence, and a lot of other things which I personally think is just a bunch of BS, but she loves it. A few days ago, my husband and I went to the doctor for an ultrasound, where the doctor told us the gender of our baby. When we got home, we began to tell our parents what it was, when my sister suddenly shushes us, grabbed my belly, and then said that she was 100% sure that I was having a girl, because she could sense its aura. Then my parents looked to my husband and I and asked us if she was right, and I shook my head and told her that it was a boy. What should have been a happy moment was ruined when my sister burst into tears and started to scream at me, saying that I was just trying to embarrass her. And then she ran into her room and slammed the door. Later, she texted me a long, angry message, calling me every name under the sun, and that she had told my parents she wanted to drop out of school to become a psychic, and I had ruined it for her. Then, she told me that if I was a good sister, I would have told her the right gender beforehand, so that she could prove to my parents that she had the eye. Now I feel really bad. Was I really the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. I love your sister's oblivious honesty that the only way for a psychic to prove that they have the eye is to have someone tell them the answer beforehand, and that you would have had to have been psychic to know that she needed to know. So if she was psychic, she would have known that you were going to reveal the baby's gender and asked you. Definitely not the a-hole. Sounds like your sister's way of looking for some attention and trying to make it all about her when it should be about you guys in the upcoming addition to the family. Not the a-hole. First of all, you don't owe it to anyone to reveal your child's gender before you want to. Secondly, she shouldn't be asking you to lie to them so she can fake being psychic to justify dropping out of school.